Part 112. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1124. It doesn't look big, but if you look closely, it seems to be boundless. This river is the projection of the laws of the soul Dao in the body. This is also a sign that the monks have understood the great Dao to the realm of Hongmeng. After the river of law was formed, the vast river of law was also revealed in the void behind him. It is vague but contains boundless power. The moment Nuwa saw it, her heart was shocked. She sensed an indescribable tyrannical force, as if it were a world countless times larger than the prehistoric world, the highest, the most noble, and the most holy. In front of the river, she once again experienced a feeling that she had not experienced for many years. That ant-like trembling. And with her keen skills, the river behind Su Junming continues to become clearer. The clearer it is, the stronger the breath reflected by the river will be. Su Junming, immersed in the river of law, gradually deduced his own divine power of the soul path, the seven souls' true body, to the realm of Hongmeng. From the very beginning, the seven-soul avatar in the Yuan-Yang realm, to the seven-soul Dharma body in the Tai realm, to the seven-soul Taoist body in the Deluo realm, to the current seven-soul true body in the Hunyuan realm. This great magical power has repeatedly improved, and its power has become stronger and stronger. Now it has a new name. Hongmeng Dao body. Its power is naturally higher than that of Chi Po's real body. The Seven Souls true body allows Dragon Emperor, Renwuji, and others to have illusory true spirits and real souls. Then the Hongmeng Dao body allows them to have completely real souls and true spirits. Even if someone has an artifact like the Dian mirror, they still can't see through the close connection between the 8 people. In addition, the Hongmeng Dao body allows 8 people, including Su Junming, to share each other's divine soul Dao supernatural powers. Renwuji's soul binding rope. The Dragon Emperor's soul bell. Ao Tian's Huangliang fantasy world. Su Da's 2-5 soul slaying swords. Chen Xuanzang's wishful body. Tiangong's soul creation. Pan Tuo's secret technique of sealing souls. There are 7 minor magical powers that you could only use yourself in the past, but now you can use 7. The soul path is mysterious and powerful. With 7 more minor magical powers, the strength will naturally be greatly improved. Of course, neither the true spirit nor the minor supernatural powers are the strongest aspects of the Hongmeng Dao body. The most precious thing about this natal supernatural power is that it allows the souls of Su Junming, Renwuji, Long Di, and others to sublime again. Surpassed the Hunyuan level and became a Hongmeng level life form. 3 souls and 7 souls became 4 souls and 9 souls. In addition to the 3 souls of heaven, earth, and man, there is one more soul. This soul has no form and looks like a ball of chaotic energy, which is called Tao soul. Among the 9 souls, in addition to the corpse dog, Fuya, bird yin, swallowing thieves, non-poison, cleansing filth, and smelly lung, there are 2 more souls. One is completely white, resembling a 2-tailed turtle, and is named Yebai. The other one was covered in black hair and looked like a big snail, and his name was Yuyan. My mind touched this newborn soul, and a kind of enlightenment appeared in my heart. It's exactly this: the cultivation of Hongmeng can be inherited by the soul of Tao, the transformation of the 4 nines can achieve the state of respect. At the moment when enlightenment was born, the energy and blood in the body changed inexplicably. It was no longer the 18 drops that had been promoted to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal Queen, but turned into 36 drops. Although the realm has not changed, the potential has increased countless times. Su Junming didn't know what to call his current state, but he was very sure that he had surpassed the top cultivating body in the prehistoric world, the Taishuan innate spirit. Perhaps Pangu, who created the world back then, is just like me now, Su Junming suddenly thought. The great supernatural powers of the Hongmeng Dao body took shape. Whether it was Su Junming or the Dragon Emperor, their divine soul bodies were transformed into a body that could only be possessed by powerful people in the Hongmeng realm. At this point, they truly have an 80% chance of advancing to the Hongmeng realm. The majestic river slowly disappeared, and Su Junming revealed a black divine pattern between his eyebrows. Under the influence of this divine pattern, the noble and sacred aura manifested on his body. It will take a long time to disappear. The enlightenment brought by merit and the Dian mirror slowly declined. He felt the tyrannical power in his body that was vaster than the ocean, wider than the starry sky, and thicker than chaos. The tyrannical power has exceeded that when he activated the Dushan Shensha formation. Subconsciously absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy. Boom. There seems to be a collapse within hundreds of billions of miles, and the innate spiritual energy after the birth of the world is swarming in. It was like a huge sea filling the abyss, and the momentum was earth-shattering. He quickly stopped and the shocking movement disappeared. Su Junming was secretly shocked. He was now absorbing spiritual energy almost 100 times faster than before. This Hongmeng body is indeed powerful. Suddenly, there was thunder in the sky. A vast ray of light came across billions of miles. The crystal white color of this divine light seems to contain the infinite principles of heaven and earth. It is the innate and immortal spiritual light that practitioners dream of. When this innate immortal spiritual light is dispersed, it can create 3 innate treasures, 9 top-grade innate spiritual treasures, 36 top-grade innate spiritual treasures, and 108 low-grade innate spiritual treasures. Of course, there are many innate treasures in the ancient world. In addition to the creation of the ancient world itself, there are also the legacies of Pangu and the 3,000 chaotic gods and demons. This new cave does not have this kind of treatment for the time being. However, Su Junming didn't plan to ask for so many innate spiritual treasures. He was no longer what he used to be, and he had no shortage of treasures. Divide this tyrannical innate immortal spiritual light into 4 parts and merge them into the 4 divine pillars of Qinglong, White Tiger, Suzaku, and Suanhui respectively. From then on, they are the spiritual treasures of this new mountain world. They are both prosperous and destructive. Only then did this world truly take shape. At the same time, a huge river appeared in an unknown place, which ran across the new world, as if everything was under control. The way of heaven. As the pioneer of the world, Su Junming has natural control over the way of heaven and can 100% mobilize all the power in this world. After the transformation of heaven and earth, there are countless innate spiritual materials, and there are even such divine items as innate clear air and breathing soil. But Su Junming did not go to get it. He doesn't need it now. Looking at the new world, he nodded with satisfaction. He took 1 step forward and came to Nuwa. The surrounding disciples were immersed in the opportunity of enlightenment after the opening of heaven, and they had not yet woken up. Seeing the surprise in Nuwa's eyes, she couldn't help but smile. "What's the matter? You've already cultivated the yin-yang dual cultivation and the 3 yuanhui, and you still don't know your husband." The light teasing made Nuwa's pretty face blush slightly, but she soon calmed down. "It seems you really don't know your current changes." With a wave of his delicate hand, a huge water mirror appeared. His current appearance was clearly reflected in the mirror. He is 36 feet tall, wearing a wide green robe, a gold rope girdle around his waist, a green gourd hanging from his waist, and black and white shoes. His long black hair is held up by a gold ring and hangs casually on the back of his head. Dress up as before. But the originally bronze skin turned into jade white, and was shrouded in a faint radiance. If it weren't for the gnarled muscles and thick eyebrows, his appearance had not changed, and he would have become the pretty boy that people called him earlier. A black dot between his eyebrows, righteous but not evil, made him a little more mysterious out of thin air. The biggest change was his temperament. It was originally just the awe-inspiring atmosphere of the headmaster of Chongshan Academy, but now it has a kind of nobility and majesty that only comes from being born sacred. At first glance, it makes one feel ashamed. Su Junming knew that this was the change caused by the transformation of his soul's body through the Hongmeng. With a thought in his heart, his appearance changed to what it was before. He is 9 feet tall and has a complexion like bronze. "Why, you don't like your new look," Nuwa said with a smile. "I've been meeting for 10 yuan, I'm used to it. I didn't expect that you have practiced hard for more than a dozen yuan hui and still can't reach the level of skin." Just as he was about to retort, his face changed slightly. With a wave of his sleeve, the space around Qinglian Taoist Panling quickly opened up, and it had changed tens of millions of miles in a blink of an eye. Soon, thick clouds of calamity appeared, looking like a storm was about to come. Judging from its scale, it is obviously the Hunyuan Golden Immortal Heavenly Tribulation. "I didn't expect that except for Zhen Yuanzi, the first one among the disciples to overcome the tribulation would be Qinglian," Nuwa said. "This is normal. Qinglian was transformed by Pangu Yuanling. He was born to be blessed by the great luck of Pangu world, and he also obtained the Chaos Pearl. If Pan Tuo hadn't asked him to establish a solid foundation and not rush to break through, he would have rushed to town. Modoko broke through before." Seeing Qinglian Daijun's energy, blood, and magic power soaring into the sky, Nuwa couldn't help but admire him. "This boy is really remarkable. He is a dual practitioner of martial arts and Dao, but he can break into the realm of Hunyuan Golden Immortal in such a short period of time." Su Junming stood with a smile. Before, he had always thought that Qinglian Daijun's fast cultivation was due to Pangu's legacy, but he didn't understand until he truly achieved the Hongmeng Dao body and his soul transformed. In addition to the luck blessing of the prehistoric world, the most important thing is that Pangu Yuanling contains Pangu's Tao soul. The Tao soul contains part of Pangu's memory. This is also the reason why he was able to get the Panhuang 9 axes from it. I'm afraid Hung Jun doesn't understand the mystery of the Tao soul, otherwise he would never leave Pangu Yuanling behind. He would have gathered them all and killed them directly. This fragmented Tao soul created Taoist Qinglian's cultivation qualifications that transcended those of the innate gods of the beginning. Looking at his state of dealing with the thunder tribulation, Su Junming was not worried about his failure. Soon there was another change among the people. In a blink of an eye, a fat middle-aged monk wearing a bright red robe came into view. "I didn't expect that Hongyun would come back from the catastrophe and achieve great success." Recalling the first time she met Hongyun, Nuwa continued. "When Zixiao Palace preached, Taoist friend Hongyun's Huoyun cave was a long way away, but it was only one step behind Sanking. In terms of cultivation alone, the 3,000 guests in Zixiao Palace could only be compared with Taoist taking. Ji Yin and my brother are both one step behind him." With a wave of his sleeves, the space beside Hongyun expanded, and in an instant it was hundreds of millions of miles away. Even if the thunder inside is loud, it will not affect the enlightened disciples around. Fellow Hongyun's qualifications are not bad. If he had not been plotted by Hung Jun, I am afraid that he would have been the first person in ancient times to become a Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Hearing this, Nuwa's expression became complicated. After all, Hung Jun had a missionary friendship with her. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1125. After looking at Nuwa with a complicated expression, he flicked his sleeves and space appeared around all the disciples. Watching Kaishan this time, when they received great fortune, more than half of them began to overcome the tribulation, and the rest also made great progress in Taoism. As long as they replenished their magic power, they had hope of breaking through. Zhang Shinian and Qi Yu's Taoist practices also surpassed those of the Hunyuan Golden Immortal, but they were unable to overcome the tribulation due to insufficient magic power. Feng Zhanjian and Xue Zhangyang still stayed in Hunyuan Xianxian without Su Hui's blessing. Su Bui and Su Bui have the same luck as him and Nuwa. Although they are only 3 Yuan Hui, their cultivation has now reached the level of Hunyuan Xianxian. With this enlightenment, although he has not yet broken through to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal, he is not far off. In the practice of Hunyuan realm, the gap between poor qualifications and superior qualifications is too big. The disciples of the big sect with background and the casual cultivators without background are in the same world. In addition, the blessing of Suhui, the blessing of magic weapons, etc. are another factor. Combining these three aspects, the other three innate sacred yuans will come down to support the Luo Jingxian perfection, while Su Bui and Su Bui have already advanced to the early stage of Hunyuan Xianxian. Suddenly, Yang Mei's voice sounded in Su Junming's heart. Teacher, the three pure ones, the two saints of the Western sect, and Taoist Master Xian Yuan are here. No Hung Jun. No. Let them come. Yes. Not long after, powerful auras came from afar. A spiritual light shone from the gourd in the space above Su Junming's head, instantly absorbing all the more than 50 disciples around him who were either cultivating or overcoming tribulations. This is the elite that he, Chongshan Academy, spent 10 years cultivating. Even if a human being interprets the union of the three religions, it cannot compare with it. But it can't be exposed like this. Su Junming waved his hand, and 24 Dushan god demon flags flew over. He put away 12 of them, and only used the 12 ancestral witches to evolve the formation. Su Junming's true body sat among them, facing the cultivators with Pangu's true body. In this state, he looks only equivalent to the early stage of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, so he is not too scary. Nuwa couldn't help but frown when she saw him like this. Are you so cautious? Keep everything in mind and be prepared for any eventuality. Just in case, Su Junming never told her that his target was Hung Jun and his disciples. Shua. The light escaped quickly, and soon the Sand King, the second sage of the West, and a middle-aged man wearing a brown robe, fluttering sleeves, a feather coat and a high crown, and applying for elegance, came closer. This man's cultivation has reached the late stage of Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Sand King and Ershen are standing around, and they regard themselves as juniors. Looking at the huge new world in the distance, everyone was a little surprised. Too big. It is already 60% the size of the prehistoric world. In fact, they had already felt the movement of the opening of this world, but because the disaster of the opening had not passed, they did not come. It should be noted that the world opened outside the prehistoric world is invaded by chaos gods and demons. If the other party misunderstands it and causes a war, it would be unjust. That's why they waited for the other party to successfully open up the world before coming over to see what happened. My poor Taoist Xian Yuan has met fellow Taoist Chongshan. The younger generation has heard about the senior's name for a long time, but has never had the opportunity to visit. This meeting really puts an end to Su Junming's regrets for many years. Haha, fellow Taoist, you're welcome. Compared with Xian Yuan Daizun, Sand King, and the second saint of the West are different. Long time no see, fellow Daoist Su. Taking bowed his hands. I haven't seen you for many years. My Taoist friend has become more and more advanced. Su Junming smiled calmly and returned the greeting. At that time, Taking had sealed him for 1,000,000 years because of the incident of accepting Zhang Shinian as his disciple. He had long since ignored the cause and effect. In addition, I don't have much interaction with the other person, so I just said hello. Fellow Daoist Su, I haven't seen you for many years and have never thought about meeting you again. You have already opened up such a world of Hunyuan. Haha, this is what I did together with Zhoujing Nuwa. I alone cannot create such a huge world. Sand King, Ershen and Xian Yuan were all shocked. This melon is so big. Nuwa glanced at Su Junming and didn't refute. This look in the eyes of the six people undoubtedly confirmed Su Junming's previous words. The eyes of the six people are different, but Sand King is pretty good. The second saint of the West looked a little more solemn. Su Junming plus Nuwa, the pattern of these two saints does not require Western teaching. Moreover, he is a Taoist couple, so his relationship is no worse than theirs. Junior sister Nuwa, how come you didn't tell me to wait for such an important matter, Taoist master Shangqing said with a smile. He is open-minded and informal by nature. Although he was a little surprised, he didn't think too much about it. It's my own private matter and I don't dare to disturb the senior brothers. Master Shangqing turned his palm, and a roll of cloth emerged. This four-elephant flying sword formation was personally practiced by me and made into a middle-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. I gave it to the virtuous couple today as a congratulatory gift. Su Junming was not polite and took it with both hands. Thank you, fellow Taoist. Seeing Tong Tian take action, the others were too embarrassed to take anything. Yuan Shi Tianzun gave 3 fire dates, and taking Taoist gave 9 9-turn golden elixirs. Discuss the Tao accurately and lead. I, the West, are poor and cannot compare to my Taoist friends from Sanking. This section of green bamboo is cut from the 6 pure bamboos with my spiritual roots in the West. I give it to the virtuous couple as a congratulation, he said. Thank you for welcoming me, fellow Taoist. Taoist master Xian Yuan spread out his left palm, and a peach tree with lush branches emerged. I heard that Taoist fellow Chongshan likes spiritual roots. This 7-star flat peach is the first generation descendant of a top-quality spiritual root after my reincarnation in the Xian Yuan world. After many years of cultivation by the veteran Taoist, it is now also a top-grade Hunyuan level acquired spiritual root. 2 Taoist friends are happily married. This 7-star flat peach can be regarded as a congratulatory gift from the Taoist. This thing is precious. My husband and I really don't dare to accept it. I'd better ask Taoist master to take it back, Nuwa said respectfully. No need to be polite, a mere spiritual root master can still afford it. If you refuse again, you will be rejecting me thousands of miles away. Since Tao Zun said so, I and my wife will accept these 7-star flat peaches. After thanking him again and again, he took it with both hands. Fellow Daoist Su, fellow Daoist Nuwa, since Emperor Wa is here, why did you open up such a world in the depths of chaos? Zunti suddenly asked. Nuwa did not speak, but glanced at Su Junming subconsciously. The latter smiled lightly. My Chongshan Academy has been developing for many years. Buzhu Mountain has a radius of 300 billion miles and has been exploited to the extreme by us. Although we can develop outwards, it will inevitably be accompanied by killing. We are all human beings. This is something I don't want to see. So, the best way is to reopen the world and transfer all the people from Chongshan Academy. Do you mean, fellow Daoist Su, that the Chongshan sect is also preparing to follow the example of Senior Xian Yuan and completely leave the wilderness? That's right. The affirmative answer caused a sudden change in the expressions of everyone present. Although the prehistoric times were vast, not an inch of land was redundant. With the retreat of the Lich and Lich clans, the human Jichan, Western sect, and Chongshan Academy emerged in the original living space of the 2 clans. Now the 4 major sects and Chongshan have basically divided up the ancient resources. No matter which faction expands massively, it will infringe on the interests of the other party. Now that Chongshan Academy has voluntarily withdrawn, we have one less competitor. Moreover, within 300 billion miles around Buzhu Mountain, there are 10 Yuanhui managed by Chongshan Academy. They are rich in aura and densely populated, and can be called the top anointed place in the ancient times. It has great appeal to any faction. Seeing everyone's expressions, Su Junming smiled calmly. Everyone, Zhoujing and I opened up this world of Chongshan, which has consumed a lot of money. We still need time to recover our strength, so we won't invite you all. We will invite you again after the 2 of us come out of seclusion and move Chongshan Academy to this world. Let's gather here together, drink and talk happily, and discuss Tao and Dharma together. After giving the order to expel the guests, the saints did not stay long and left one after another. After watching them leave, Su Junming vibrated the space cord and released the disciples. At this time, those who should have passed through the tribulation have successfully passed through the tribulation, and those who have not passed through the tribulation have woken up. Looking at the huge world not far away, everyone felt excited. Congratulations to the teacher, Uncle Master, for the successful launch. He waved his hand. Okay, you have just made a breakthrough in cultivation. Let's go to the Chaos Stone Ball to consolidate your cultivation. Go ahead. Disciple, please leave. As a direct disciple, there is a small Chongshan cave, and the teleportation array deep in the cave connects with the Chaos Stone Ball, making it easy to go back. After they left, Su Junming handed over the treasures given by the saints to Nuwa. I don't have any use for these things. You can keep them to reward your disciples. Although he said this, he was still very happy with Su Junming's initiative to hand over his property. After achieving his goal, Su Junming smiled slightly and put the things away. Do you really want to withdraw Chongshan Academy from the ancient world? I said it in front of all the saints, how could I go back on it? Nuwa nodded and pondered for a moment. How about I integrate Wa Huangtian into your Chongshan world? Are you willing? Giving him a rollicking look, Nuwa turned into an escaping light and flew towards the great wilderness. Obviously, it was to move Emperor Wa to heaven. After she left, Pan Tuo, Tiangong Taoist, Yang Mei and Zhen Yuanzi also flew in from afar. Pan Tuo looked at it for a moment and nodded. This world is really nice. How many were killed? Su Junming asked simply. 9 of the Hunyuan Golden Immortal Realm, the remaining 176 Hunyuan Xianxian and True Immortal Realm, some of them ran away because they saw that the situation was not good. Old Qi, how are you doing there? Taoist Tiangong said calmly, 17 statues of the Hunyuan Golden Immortal Realm, and the remaining 314 statues of the Hunyuan Xianxian and True Immortal Realms. Pan Tuo's expression froze. With the Hongmeng spiritual treasure in hand, you are domineering. Turned. How are you two doing? As a senior brother, Yang Mei naturally spoke first. I don't have the great magic power of the two uncles. I killed 3 Hunyuan Golden Immortals, Hunyuan Xianxian and True Immortals, 74. It seems that I am the least. I only killed 1 Hunyuan Golden Immortal, and 27 Hunyuan Xianxian and True Immortal Zhen Yuanzi said. This result was also expected. Zhen Yuanzi was the last to break through to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal, and was the weakest among the 4. A simple calculation shows that in this opening, everyone killed a total of 30 chaos gods and demons in the Hunyuan Golden Immortal Realm, and 591 Hunyuan Xianxian and Hunyuan True Immortal Realms. Thanks to the book Friend Don't Sleep on the Mat in Summer for the 4,500 starting points reward, thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1126. There are more than 600 chaotic gods and demons. Although they are not comparable to Pangu, they are still worthy of Chongshan and the foundation of the high-grade Hunyuan world, Pan Tuo said. As Taoist Tiangong waved his hand, the green gourd flew out. The gods and demons I killed are all inside. He waved his hand. You can keep these magical weapons and flesh and blood of gods and demons for your own use. There is no need to give them to me. After hearing what he said, Taoist Tiangong did not refuse and put away his gourd. Pan Tuo is even more unkind. If he wants to break through in martial arts, these flesh and blood will be the best materials. Seeing this, Yang Mei and Zhen Yuanzi, who originally wanted to take it out, stopped taking action. You two have worked hard after a series of battles. Go back and rest. Disciple resigns. Yang Mei and Zhen Yuanzu return to the Chaos Stone Ball. Go to Chongshan residence. The three figures disappeared instantly. As for the new Chongshan Hunyuan world, which is connected with Su Junming's soul, he will naturally be alert if he encounters an intruder. Come to the backyard pavilion and sit down in the lotus position. Tell me, what's the matter, Su Junming said. Based on his understanding of Taoist Tiangong, if he didn't go to sleep after completing the tasks he was told, there must be other things that needed him to deal with. Really? Opening his left palm, the 18th grade Chaos Green Lotus flew out. The tightly closed lotus petals bloomed, revealing a young man wearing a green robe. The Hunyuan Golden Immortal's cultivation is indeed tyrannical, but if it were just that, it would obviously not be taken seriously by Tiangong Taoist. I don't know this person's name, but he claims to be from the Deluo sect of the Jambudvi realm. Upon hearing this, the expressions of Su Junming and Pan Tuo suddenly changed. Tiangong patted the green gourd on his waist, and a golden talisman that exuded a powerful treasure light and had a rich earthly charm flew out. Su Junming, who was proficient in weapon refining, could tell at a glance that this was a Hongmeng spiritual talisman that surpassed Hunyuan. This is what he uses. He reached out to take it, checked the powerful Hongmeng restriction in it, and handed it to Pan Tuo. So you suspect that the Yanfu realm is a more powerful place than the Pangu Hunyuan world? That's right. We have never been clear about what should be called the small thousand world, the middle thousand world, the great thousand world, and the Hunyuan world if it goes higher up. If what this person says is true, then it should probably be True Realm, or it can be called the Hongmeng True Realm. Su Junming was not in a hurry to agree and urged the Danshan Tianji Divine Ball to deduce. It didn't take long before the four words Hongmeng True Realm appeared in my heart. It is indeed as you said, above the Hunyuan world is the Hongmeng True Realm. So, this guy with thin skin and tender flesh is indeed from Lao Shi's Yamfugenjid Luo sect, Pan Tuo said. It cannot be ruled out that he is a casual cultivator from the Yanfu realm. When he is about to die, he uses the name of Deluo sect to scare us so as to save his own life. Moreover, I did not find any suppression in his Danshan with the Dian Divine Mirror. The traces left by Pai Kong Bao and the secret methods far beyond our strength, Tiangong said. Just kill So Hun and everything will be clear, Pan Tuo said. You can't kill him yet. Although this person may be just a casual cultivator. But don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of the worst. Now we are still far from the Zun realm, and everything in the prehistoric world has not been solved. Even if we know the news about the world of Jambu, it's no use either. So, it is better to seal this person first. When we need news about Jambu world, we can kill him and search for his soul. In addition, now that we are all Hongmeng Dao bodies, with 4 souls and 9 souls, the speed of absorbing and refining spiritual energy is much faster than before. With the help of Dian Divine Mirror and Time Taoism, maybe with 3 or 4 Yuan Hui, maybe 7 or 8 Yuan Hui, we can reach the perfection of Hunyuan Golden Immortal and get a glimpse of the mystery of Hongmeng realm. So, there is no need to rush to kill this person and cause trouble. After all, time is on our side. Su Junming pondered for a moment and nodded. Tiangong's words are prudent and prudent. Forget it, just do as you say. Taoist Tiangong nodded and put away the 18th grade creation green lotus. My dear, there is something I need your consent to do. What's the matter? My clone has found Luo Hu's hiding place, but his strength is not enough to deal with this demon ancestor. So I want to go there in person, kill this beast, and retrieve the Black Lotus of Destruction. This time, the reason why he was able to kill more than a dozen Hunyuan Golden Immortals, more than 300 Hunyuan Xianxian and True Immortals in succession, the 18th level creation Qinglian was the most important. Therefore, Taoist Tiangong's desire to retrieve the Black Lotus and further advance the creation of the Green Lotus became stronger and stronger. Su Junming also understood him. Okay, I will personally go to Xianyuan world and bring back the third-grade Black Lotus. Alas, it is really hard to compare people to death, and you have to throw away goods when comparing goods. Two of you, one has the Dian Divine Mirror, and the other has the Green Lotus of Creation. They are both Hongmen treasures, but I, Pango's true body, only have half of them. No, Pan Tuo said enviously. Su Junming waved his right hand, and 24 spiritual lights flew to Pan Tuo. I don't have any use for these 24 gods and demon flags. You can take them. He now has the aura of Chongshan world imprinted on him, so of course he can no longer use the world power of Pango world. If he just summoned Pango's true form, then Su Junming believed that his current cultivation level might not be bad. Moreover, there are still 3 multi-sects before the conferred God's War. After such a long time, with my current Hongmen Taoist qualifications, even if I have not broken through to the Hongmen realm, I am not far away from the perfection of Delugo Golden Immortal. He is a master of both martial arts and martial arts, and his strength is not much worse than that of Pango during his heyday. Real. Pan Tuo was very familiar with the set of heavy treasures that Su Junming had spent 10 Yuanhui time cultivating. Of course. But you don't have to be like me and directly absorb the 24 gods and demons to strengthen your cultivation. They have the same origin as your physical body and will not conflict. Pan Tuo understood what he meant. Except for the difference in strength, his physical body and Pango's physical body were exactly the same. They could use the world power of Pango's world without the need for a large formation. Therefore, the Dushan gods and demons formation is of no use to him. Wait for him to put away the Dushan god demon flag. When we get the jade plate of creation and advance further in our cultivation, we will go to the Black Cave Immortal Mansion. We will definitely gain something by then, Su Junming said. I don't know how many Yuanhui exist in the Black Hole Immortal Mansion, but they have still not been taken away. Even if we break through the Hongmen realm, we may not be able to get the treasure, Tiangong Taoist said. Always give it a try. As soon as the words fell, the 3 people's expressions changed. Soon, the figures of Dragon Emperor, Renwuji, and others appeared. Haha, this time it's not just a projection. Renwuji felt the magic power in his body and was ecstatic. Not even 1/10 of the mana has been invested, so there is nothing to be happy about. Suda started to complain as before. Just as the 8 people started a more extensive discussion about crossing the tribulation and the Hongmen realm, Sanking and the second saint of the West, who had returned to the prehistoric world, were just about to separate and go home. Suddenly stopped at the same time. After looking at each other, they made their fingerprints at the same time. The light flashed and the figure disappeared. Soon we came to a place wrapped in thick white fog. In this thick white cloud, stands a not-so-gorgeous palace. On the stone tablet on the left side in front of the palace, there are 3 characters of Zixiao Palace engraved on it. The handwriting is vigorous, and although there is no spiritual light, it seems to contain infinite mystery. Come in. Following the old voice, Sanking and the second saint of the West walked in. A very ordinary palace. Directly across from him, sitting cross-legged under the word Tao, was an old Taoist priest wearing a purple Taoist robe, holding a floating dust in his hand, with white beard and hair, and his eyes slightly closed. Feeling the arrival of the 5 people, the old Taoist priest slowly opened his eyes, and his 2 deep gazes fell on the 5 saints. The 5 people's hearts trembled, and they instantly felt an unconcealable pressure. Don't dare to neglect. See teacher, teacher Sheng Xiao. Everyone, take a seat. The 5 people stepped forward and sat down on the 5 futons that had been prepared long ago. The chaos was shaking before, but there is a war between chaos gods and demons. Teacher Hui, that's not the case. It's because the true lord of Chongshan, Su Junming, and junior sister Nuwa joined forces to open up the world, Tongtian cult master said. Oh. Teacher, junior sister Nuwa has formed a Taoist couple with Su Junming, Zunti said. Hung Jun's expression finally changed. After frowning slightly. This true lord of Chongshan, Su Junming, is the one who established Chongshan Academy in Buzhu Mountain. It is this person, Zunti said. According to what he said, the reason why Chongshan world was opened was that he planned to follow the example of Taoist Xiantian and move the disciples of Chongshan Academy out of the prehistoric world. Xiantian. A familiar figure appeared in his mind, and he shook his head slightly. How big is the world this person has opened up? Because the place where Su Junming opened up the world was far outside the reach of the prehistoric world. Although Hung Jun could feel it, he could not see it. About half the size of the prehistoric world. So huge, Hung Jun was slightly surprised. Su Junming is very powerful, and with the help of junior sister Nuwa, we can achieve such a harvest. Hung Jun shook his head. It is far away from the ancient world and cannot borrow the power of heaven and earth from the ancient world. All the saints were stunned. It seems that junior sister Nuwa has advanced to Hunyuan Golden Immortal, Jian said in a deep voice. Su Junming is not simple either. The 12 capital gods and evil formation does not have the power of heaven and earth. The formation itself can maintain the magic power of a saint. Although he is only the most junior saint, it still shows his cultivation level. Even if he has not broken through Hunyuan Golden Immortal, but it's not far away, Yuan Shi Tianzun said. As soon as this was said, everyone nodded. Hung Jun's words pointed out what they had been ignoring. I understood, but the 5 of them also breathed a sigh of relief. Chongshan Academy is far away from the ancient times. Without the involvement of cause and effect, Su Junming and Nuwa will no longer pay attention to the ancient times. They directly lose 2 powerful enemies who may compete for the fate of the ancient times. Which one of you has Su Junming had more contact with? Hung Jun's eyes swept over the saints. I've only met him 2 or 3 times, so I don't know much about him, Taking said. Me too, Yuan Shi said. This is my first time seeing this person, Tongtian said. This is also the first time for me to meet this person, Jian said. I once had a fight with him and accidentally lost a move, Zunti said with some shame. Hung Jun looked at him. What kind of Taoism does this person major in? Space Dao. It seems that he also has a supplementary training in Formation Dao. Array. Hung Jun nodded and couldn't help but deduce Su Junming's life again, and the answer he got was the same as before. Yang Mei has been missing for a long time, but he is not good at the formation method. Although Luo Hu is proficient in the formation method, he is not good at the space method. This Su Junming must not be the long arm that the 2 of them have extended into the wilderness, otherwise he would not be so high profile. It's okay, you all can go back. Disciple takes leave. Seeing them leaving Zixiao Palace, Hung Jun's eyes flickered. There are only 3 half Yuan Hui, so nothing can go wrong. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1127. Su Junming gave an order, and all the disciples under Chongshan Academy took action and began to move. All the human tribes in Chongshan territory are also included in the migration. Of course, you can stay if you want. However, tens of millions of lower courts, nearly 1 million middle courts, and tens of thousands of upper courts in Chongshan are among those that must be relocated. The cross-border teleportation array on the top of Buzhu Mountain began to be busy day and night. It took nearly 10,000 years to move all the people who were willing to move to Chongshan world. Standing on Mount Buzhu with his hands behind his back. Now the place is bare, all the buildings have disappeared. A spiritual light flew from afar, and after landing, a middle-aged man wearing a green robe appeared. He is Yoshio Qingyun, the first deacon of the 6th generation of Chongshan. Ancestor, except for the 13 clans such as the Shui clan, the Aries clan, the Ji clan, and the Feng clan, which are unwilling to move. The rest of the clans have completed their relocation. Obviously, not all tribes are willing to leave with Chongshan. In this case, Su Junming is not willing to take care of it. The cause and effect between the two parties is over. Whether the prehistoric world is destroyed or remains in the future, these tribes have nothing to do with Chongshan. You go too? Yes. After bowing, he flew down to the teleportation formation, and with a powerful spiritual light, his figure disappeared instantly. Call. A strong wind blew and Su Junming's robe floated. The lonely and desolate Buzhu Mountain reminded him of the time when he first came to the wilderness and worked with Yun Zongzi to repair the world and earn merit. Comparing the trepidation at that time with the superiority and arrogance now, it is really hard to look back on the past. Unknowingly, it has already been 10 yuan hui. It's so fast. After shaking his head, he calmed down the unnecessary worries in his heart. He made a secret with his hands, and the magic power rolled out of his body. Now that he has reached the peak of the late Hunyuan Golden Immortal Realm, he has no rival in the prehistoric world except Hung Jun. Of course, he was not trying to fight anyone this time. Along with the tyrannical magic power, Buzhu Mountain under his feet suddenly trembled. The earth within a radius of 300 billion miles also began to tremble. Fortunately, most of the human race here have moved away, and the remaining ones are also on the periphery, so no one was injured. Rise. A sudden drink. The huge Buzhu Mountain actually slowly flew out from the ground. Sanking and the second saint of the West, who had been paying attention to this place, were all shocked. Brother, what is he doing? Obviously, he wants to take Buzhu Mountain, maybe to refine the treasure, maybe to use it for other purposes, Jayin said in a deep voice. Buzhu Mountain is the pillar of heaven. Although it is disabled now, and the spiritual veins have been pulled to Kunlun Mountain by the Sand King, but it is a treasure from the ancient times, and the Sand King just watched him take it away. They are not the patron saints of the eastern wilderness, as they claim to be. Aren't you allowed to let others get involved? Zunti said sarcastically. Su Junming has decided to leave Honghuang. Sand King hopes that he will leave as soon as possible. Although Buletin Zhoushan is important, it is nothing compared to letting Chongshan leave. Doesn't the teacher care? Teacher, I'm afraid I hope Su Junming will take away Buzhu Mountain, Jian thought to himself. He is also a smart person. From the ancient times when thousands of clans were fighting, to Hung Jun's sanctification, to the Lich War, and now, he has been vaguely aware of the Hung Jun who sits high in the Zixiao Palace and is known as the teacher of all saints. Ancestor Jun's true purpose. But I understand that the difference in cultivation between the two sides is too big, plus the karma he owed back then. Not only can't you resist, but you also have to help. Of course, not only did Jian not want to resist, he also planned to help. Because once the prehistoric world is destroyed, Sand King, who is a descendant of Pangu, will no longer receive the blessing of heaven and earth. After the heaven and the earth are shattered and the fate of mankind declines, that will be the time when our Western religion will prosper. As the former pillar of heaven, Mount Buzhu is hundreds of millions of miles high and has a diameter of more than 100 billion miles at its widest point. Even if a section is cut off, it is still the highest and largest mountain range in the wilderness. But under Su Junming's magic power, this huge mountain slowly shrank, and gradually fell into Su Junming's palm and disappeared. This scene clearly revealed his attainments in the Dao of space. Buzhu Mountain was taken away. On the land at the center of the ancient wilderness, there was only a huge pit left. Su Junming made a secret with his hands, and a spiritual light flew in all directions. The aura of the surrounding soil is rapidly growing, the soil is evolving endlessly, and the pit is slowly shrinking. At the same time, the spiritual energy of the rolling water turned into huge waves and poured into the deep pit. It wasn't until the huge pit shrunk by half and the rolling water filled the remaining pit that Su Junming restrained his magic power. After noticing that nothing was missing, he stretched out his hand and a space passage appeared. Aware of the peeping spirits around him, he smiled calmly. Everyone, Su Junming bids farewell. After bowing his hands, he disappeared into the space passage. Soon, the sky returned to calm. Staring at the vast lake, Sanking and the second saint of the west heaved a sigh of relief. Finally left. After moving out of the prehistoric world, he did not return directly to the Chongshan Hunyuan world, but came to Wawang heaven. Although Nuwa has advanced to the Hunyuan golden immortal level, and Emperor Wa is the world she created, it is not an easy task to move it to the Hunyuan world in Chongshan and integrate it with it. Even though Wawangtian is just a low-grade Hunyuan world, it is still a Hunyuan world after all, and it is too heavy. It took Nuwa thousands of years to complete half of the journey. The two of them joined forces and it took another 3,000 years to truly overthrow the Chongshan Hunyuan world. Su Junming is the world master of Chongshan Hunyuan world. Of course, he is in charge of the major event of the integration of the two worlds. Should I start? Nuwa nodded, understanding the meaning of his words. Don't worry, I won't regret it. Looking at Nuwa's quiet and pretty face, she was moved for a moment and said decisively, I will definitely live up to you in the future. Smiling slightly, it was like thousands of flowers blooming, and it was as beautiful as ever. This was already decided when I agreed to be your Taoist companion. Su Junming smiled and held her delicate hand. After taking a slight breath, his heart moved. The heavenly path of the Hunyuan world in Chongshan suddenly changed, and the powerful power of heaven and earth turned into a rolling swallowing power, capturing Emperor Wa. Under Nuwa's control, Emperor Wa's heavenly Dao did not resist and flew into the mountain world obediently. The crystal wall of the magnificent Wawang world disappeared, and the Taiyan, Sun, Ziwei and 365 main stars merged with the stars of Chongshan world. The last remaining central world, which is tens of thousands of trillions of miles away, falls into the edge of the ocean of the Hunyuan world in Chongshan. The central continent, which is 5 times larger than it, is separated from the Wawangtian continent by hundreds of millions of miles of ocean. This distance is nothing to monks above Tai realm, but for those in Qi refining realm and Yuan Yang realm, it is like a chasm, insurmountable. Because of the hatred in ancient times in the prehistoric world, the current human race and demon race cannot coexist peacefully. They are divided into 2 isolated continents, which is beneficial to each other. As for Tai, Deluo and Hunyuan realm, they are smaller in number, but better restrained. Nuwa nodded. Just make the decision. Su Junming smiled and patted her delicate hand, staring at the Chongshan Hunyuan world. Because of the fusion of Emperor Wa and Heaven, the power of the world in the Chongshan world expanded a lot. The size is almost equivalent to 60% of the prehistoric world. By the way, now that I no longer have a dojo, you will have to lend me your Chaos Stone Ball to practice Taoism in the future. No, I will lend you my Chongshan residence. Nuwa smiled and subconsciously clenched her generous palm. Let's go, I have advanced to the late stage of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, and I just want to practice together with my good wife. The 2 figures disappeared instantly. At the same time, Taoist Tiangong also came deeper into the chaos. After penetrating through the layers of chaotic spiritual energy, a huge tree appeared in front of him, emitting dark yellow divine light. The height of this tree is comparable to most of Mount Buzhu, covering hundreds of billions of miles. The fluffy tree canopy spread out, as if it enveloped a huge world. The rolling chaotic spiritual energy was torn out, and its ability to absorb and refine the spiritual energy was stronger than Yang Mei's hollow willow. Jianmuo. I didn't expect it to be in Luohu's hands. The 4 sacred trees of the Taishu era. Jianmuo, Ruomuo, Sunmuo, and Fuzang wood. Sunmu is rumored to be in the hands of the beast Emperor Shen Ni, while Ruomu is in the hands of the Emperor of Taoist era. Later, the two sides fought, and Sunmu and Ruomu disappeared. Jianmu fell into the hands of Luohu. After the ancient war between thousands of tribes and the defeat of Luohu's demon tribe, Jianmu also disappeared. The Fuzang wood was in the hands of Dong Huangtai and Dai Jun. After the Lich War, it was moved to the Wawang heaven by Nuwa, and now it has fallen into the Hunyuan world of Chongshan. Each of the four sacred trees has its own magical uses. The hibiscus tree is born with the highest yang and is impervious to all evil. Ruomu and Sunmu didn't know, but this building was in line with the way of the earth. It was huge and its defense was even more powerful. Fortunately, I have the 18th grade green lotus, otherwise you wouldn't be able to break it. He shook his head to clear away unnecessary thoughts. With a snap of his finger and thunder, a powerful divine light went straight to Jianmu. Boom! There was a shocking loud noise, and the thick bright yellow spiritual light turned into a thick layer of light. No matter how powerful the Tiangong Taoist's impact was, it only caused ripples and did not break the protection of Jianmu. However, it was enough to alarm the people in the building. Not long after, a figure whose whole body was filled with darkness, whose head, face, and appearance could not be discerned, suddenly appeared outside the Jianmu light layer. Realizing that Taoist Tiangong was incredibly powerful, he didn't attack directly. "Who is your excellency?" This shocked my dojo, and I don't know why. The low and hoarse voice clearly reached Tiangong's ears. "Your excellency, are you Rahu, one of the 5 ancient saints in the ancient world?" The figure immersed in the darkness fluctuated slightly, but returned to calm instantly. "There is no Rahu here. Your excellency has found the wrong one." "Haha, I thought that demon lord Rahu could defeat the 3 saints in the ancient times. He was an admirable strong man. Unexpectedly, after being defeated overnight, he didn't even dare to admit his own name." Boom! A powerful momentum soared into the sky. The mighty magic light stirred up billions of miles in radius. The powerful pressure was like a river that burst its banks, rolling in and pressing down on Tiangong. "Who are you? Xian Yuan? Yang Mei? Or Shenyi, one of those immortal subordinates of the Daihuang clan? If Rahu was mysterious before, now he is like an unsheathed sword." A handsome, slightly pale face was filled with the arrogance of a strong man. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1128. Chapter 1108, Tiangong battles with Rahu, 6 desires magic. After hearing what Luohu said, Taoist Tiangong's heart moved. "I am Prince Pija of the 10,000 Beasts Palace. Rahu, your 6 desires and demonic skills have become more and more advanced." The divine palace of 10,000 beasts was the residence of the beast king Shen Ni in the Taishu era, and Pika was the 7th among the 12 princes of Shen Ni's family. This is what Tiangong Taoist learned from Nuwa. The latter was born in ancient times, and the records of the Taishu era at that time were far better than those of the Middle Ages. Supplemented by Su Junming's secret deduction skills and the books collected by Chongshan Academy over the years, he knows many secrets of the Taishu era. In addition, Tiangong Taoist used the Xiaochong mountain space barrier to isolate the inside and outside, so that his aura was not exposed at all, and he was not afraid that Luohu would see his true and false nature. It turns out that it was Prince Pega in person. I wonder if the prince is not receiving blessings from the Beast King Hunyuan realm, so why did he come to my place? The Beast King Hunyuan realm, it seems that Shen Ni is not only not dead, but also opened up a Hunyuan world in the chaos. This is really an unexpected gain. Let's deceive him again and see if we can get any other information. My father asked me to come and personally invite Senior Luohu to the Beast King Hunyuan realm to talk to him. I wonder why fellow Taoist Chenyi asked me to come. Nature is a prehistoric thing. I see. Prince, please lead the way. I will go with you. Easy to say. Tiangong Taoist flew in front, Luo Hu fought with his hands, put away the Jianmu sacred tree, and followed closely behind. The distance between the two sides has shortened over time. Seeing that there was only 1,000 feet left, Luo Hu's aura floated, and a black spear flew towards Taoist Tiangong's back silently. The speed was extremely fast, and the killing aura was astonishing. A white lotus flower appeared behind Taoist Tiangong, and the two sides touched. Like wind and thunder rising from the ground, the mighty energy stirs up boundless chaotic energy. The two sides broke into each other and said nothing. Luo Hu spread his palms, and a 3-foot-long black spear emerged from his hands. The bright red tip of the spear flashed with cold light, and he breathed out a murderous aura and was powerful. Tiangong Taoist has a bronze 3-legged sacred furnace above his head. The sacred furnace is 3 feet high, with 2 ears and 3 legs. There are 8 transoms for black turtles to swallow, arranged according to the 8 trigrams, and you can see the scorching flames inside. A white copper hammer is held in his right hand. It is not the traditional 8-sided hammer, but a double-headed forging hammer. The simple copper hammer is embossed with black turtle patterns, blooming with the rich divine light of creation. In his left hand, he held a flag of the god of fierce. The flagpole was made up of gray-white demon heads connected together. There was no pattern on the black flag, but the richness of the death energy was frightening. With a wave of the spear, the gun light was like thunder and lightning, flying straight towards Taoist Tiangong. The latter waved the underworld death flag in his hand, and the death energy barriers blocked all the gun light. Luo Hu, how dare you attack me? Aren't you afraid of the conquest of the Hunyuan realm's army by me, the Beast King? Shameless person. You are pretending to be Prince Pega, do you really think I can't tell? Haha, it seems you are not stupid. While talking, the two of them were fighting fast, hammering and shooting, and hundreds of moves were passed in the blink of an eye. Although the powerful Taoist technique did not hit the enemy, it caused chaotic energy to roll around in tens of billions of squares, and the earth, fire, wind, and water swirled and annihilated. Luo Hu, is this all you have? Demon Lord Rahu with cold eyes moved in his heart, and a 9th-grade black lotus slowly emerged from the top of his head. Seeing it, Taoist Tiangong's eyes flashed with fire. The reason why he traveled hundreds of millions of miles to find Rahu was just for this black magic lotus. But if you want to get it, you must first overcome this obstacle. With Demon Lord Rahu condensing and bursting with energy, Taoist Tiangong sighed slightly. At the beginning, he planned to exchange Rahu's black lotus of destruction with the death banner of the underworld demon. But he never expected that the other party would actually train this black lotus into his own magical treasure. Generally speaking, few people do this. After all, it is very difficult to advance an innate spiritual treasure. It not only requires innate immortal spiritual light, but also requires sufficient spiritual energy. Moreover, if it is an innate spiritual treasure with incompatible attributes, the treasure's spirituality will be clouded and its effectiveness will be greatly reduced. Therefore, whether it is the prehistoric world or other worlds, the monk's natal treasure is to be sacrificed and refined with acquired spiritual materials. Of course, there are also innate spiritual materials, but those require opportunity to obtain. Luo Hu trained the Black Lotus of Destruction into a natal magic treasure, and of course it was impossible to exchange it again. Black Lotus Heart Light. Rich 7-color magic light bloomed from the Black Lotus, and the mighty black magic light enveloped hundreds of millions of miles in an instant. The moment he saw this magic light, Taoist Tiangong felt that his eyes were blurred, and it was no longer a battlefield filled with chaotic spiritual energy. Instead, it is a milky white space filled with the aura of creation, calm and peaceful. For the sleepy Tiangong Taoist, the moment he saw this place, the sleepiness in his body was stirred. Subconsciously, 2 eyes and 4 eyelids began to fight. My head is also dizzy. Suddenly, a light as clear as water flew out of the dantian and swept across the sea of consciousness. The space that made him sleepy instantly collapsed and returned to boundless chaos again. At the same time, a spear with scarlet light was already in front of him. The underworld demon's death banner, which once blocked the layers of spear light, was instantly broken because it lost the control of Tiangong Taoist. The Tiangong Taoist who broke out in a cold sweat did not dare to neglect. His heart moved, and the black turtle furnace that had not moved yet shed a lot of spiritual light. At the same time, multiple space barriers are derived, providing double protection. Boom! There was a loud noise, like the sound of gold and iron. The spear was immediately blocked. Seeing this, Luo Hu's eyes flashed with a trace of pity. Just a little bit away, he could severely injure or even kill this person in an instant. Staring at the spear in front of him, Taoist Tiangong knew very well that this was the legendary killing treasure in the ancient world, the god-killing spear, which was comparable to the Qinkan Ding, Hichu Luoshu, Dishu, etc. A trace of hesitation flashed across his eyes. Not the right time yet. Swinging the divine hammer of creation, the god-killing spear flew away with a bang. The divine spear flew back to Luo Hu's hand like lightning. The mana in the latter's body was boiling like a boil, and the 9th grade black lotus on his head expanded instantly, turning into a giant in the blink of an eye. The huge black lotus expelled the energy of chaos, billowing with magic light and covering hundreds of millions of miles. Luo Hu made seals with his hands, and the sound from his mouth was as if he was born roaring, deafening. 6 desires demon divine light. Red, yellow, green, blue, purple, and black, the 6 colors of divine light are overwhelming. But in an instant, the 9th grade black lotus seemed to turn into a big sun, and the mighty magic light overwhelmed the sky. Tiangong Taoist's ears instantly rang with the sound of Mimi. Lust, hunger, rage, jealousy, killing, pain, 6 emotions came to mind at the same time. Although Tiangong Taoist people have extraordinary nature and superb concentration, they are also disturbed by the illusion of 6 desires. Luo Hu waved the god-killing spear faster and faster. From a distance, it looked like tens of thousands of dragons and snakes flying up and down around the Tiangong Taoist. They gnawed their teeth, faster than lightning and faster than light. Each move is extremely wonderful. Tiangong Taoists guard the gates of their homes, and when soldiers come to block them, when water comes to the earth, they camp, and their positions are not disturbed at all. Luo Hu is indeed extraordinary. If it were not for my Dian divine mirror to restrain his 6 desires demon god's light, other great Luo Jingxian would have been upset even if they were on guard. In a short period of time, maybe he could still handle it. It's been a long time, and there will definitely be flaws. With Luo Hu's powerful combat skills, he only needs to catch a flaw once, and coupled with the killing energy of the god-killing spear, he can instantly severely damage or even kill his opponent. If I had known that Luo Hu had this ability, I should have let me come. His 9 axes of Panhuang are very powerful. The two fought faster and faster, and the fight became more intense. Within a radius of hundreds of billions of miles, the beaten earth, water, wind, and fire swirled and died, and chaotic spiritual energy surged. Time also goes by little with the fighting. Soon, 1,000 years passed. Even with Luo Hu's peak Hunyuan golden immortal magic power, it feels a little unsustainable now. That guy may have a valuable treasure that protects his soul and is not afraid of my demonic light, but he is only in the middle stage of Hunyuan golden immortal. How come he has stronger magic power than me? Luo Hu couldn't help but feel more inclined to retreat. Although he still has some treasures in his hand, they are not much better than the god-killing spear and the 9th rank black lotus. As for Jian Muo, his defense is unparalleled, but attacking and killing is obviously not what it is good at. His mood changed, and the killing intention in the gun's momentum suddenly lost a bit. An ordinary Hunyuan golden immortal might not be able to detect it, but Tiangong Taoist who has achieved the Hongmeng Dao body and possesses 4 souls and 9 souls is keenly aware of this subtle change. My heart was shocked. It's time. The divine hammer of creation in his hand was swung violently. Heavenly work. A buzz sound. In mid-air, a huge hammer with a height of 90,000 feet was struck down with a crash. As the Tiangong Taoist's natal magical power, the Tiangong divine hammer, blessed by the power of creation, its power becomes more and more powerful. After all, Luohu was a powerful person from the ancient times, and he instantly noticed the changes in Tiangong Taoist's moves. With a sudden movement of his hand, he hit the magic gun. Killing God. It was like a bolt of lightning rising into the sky and turning into a long spear in an instant. The sharp force of the spear was like a divine thunder and lightning breaking through the sky, extremely domineering. Tiangong Taoist did not care about the result of this blow. Something moved in my heart. A small space channel instantly opened behind Luohu. An illusory black copper bell flew out. Not good. Luohu was shocked when he realized something was wrong. He subconsciously activated the Jianmu sacred tree, and the thick divine light of the earth was waving. Boom! Deafening bells erupted. The sound of the bell and the divine light of the building wood collided with each other, evoking thousands of auras. Before Luohu could breathe a sigh of relief, a black space passage appeared again 3 feet away from his feet. An 18-color blue lotus slowly flew out. The milky white aura of creation soared into the sky and spread thousands of feet in the blink of an eye, like a milky white lotus appearing in the chaos. Luohu, who was protected by Jianmu, felt a sense of impending disaster in his heart. This feeling was so strong that it reminded him of the scene in the ancient times when Hung Jun almost killed him with the Pangu banner. He is also a decisive person. Gritting his teeth. The great method of escaping the demon's body. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1129. Luohu's physical body spontaneously ignited without fire, and the power he erupted in an instant directly surpassed the Hunyuan golden immortal level. The powerful demonic fire instantly burned through the space, and the 9th grade black lotus wrapped Luohu's soul and flew in like lightning. The next moment, the milky white lotus flower closed, and everything inside, including Jianmu, was instantly sealed. With a move of his hand, the 18th grade green lotus of good fortune fell into the hands of Taoist Tiangong. After looking at it for a moment, he couldn't help but sigh. He actually let him escape. At the beckoning moment, after losing mana in mid-air, the god-killing spear with reduced power flew over. 48 innate divine prohibitions, the top innate spiritual treasures second only to the 3 treasures of Kaishan, contain the way of killing and are infinitely powerful. Jianmu's spiritual root, the best innate spiritual root, exists at the same level as the yellow plum, hollow willow, and ginseng fruit tree. It contains the charm of the earth and has unparalleled defense. No matter which one the second treasure is, it is extremely precious, but it is not as important as the 9th grade black lotus to Tiangong Taoist. Hongmeng Lingbao's green lotus of creation is the foundation of his path. If he could get a 9th grade black lotus to complete part of his foundation, his creation green lotus would be able to grow at least 6 more petals, raising its power to another level. Unfortunately now. Taoist Tiangong shook his head, activated the green lotus of creation, and silently felt the position of the 9th grade black lotus of Luohu, but got nothing. At first, he relied on Su Junming's deduction and the bond between the green lotus of creation and the black lotus of destruction to figure out Luohu's whereabouts. Now, he was alone, and Luohu was running away, so it was normal that he could not be found. It seems that I can only go back and ask for advice first. Put away the treasure and activate Xiao Chongshan Cave Heaven. Powerful space power exploded, and a transmission channel emerged. One step forward and you return to the Hunyuan stone ball. Today's Hunyuan stone ball is no longer at the edge of the prehistoric world, but has come to the chaos at the edge of the Hunyuan world in Chongshan. From a distance, it looks like a huge satellite flying around Chongshan Hunyuan world. After looking around, Su Junming was not here. I must have gone to practice cultivation with Nuo, he sighed. Beauty Township is the tomb of heroes. If I remember correctly, it was you who encouraged me to pursue Nuo. As he spoke, Su Junming's figure emerged. Looked up and down. Looking at you, things didn't work out. After nodding. Luo who is worthy of being one of the 5 ancient sages. His Taoism is mysterious and impossible to guard against. Pass him the memory of the fight. It is indeed extraordinary. Okay, don't look depressed. Although you didn't get the 9th grade Black Lotus, didn't you also get the Jianmu spiritual root and the god-killing spear? What I want is the origin of the Black Lotus. What use are these 2 pieces of work to me? Taoist Tiangong said angrily. Haha, maybe it's actually useful. You mean? Bring the second treasure. Tiangong Taoist people do what they say. Su Junming took Jianmu and the god-killing spear in his hands. After briefly inspecting them for a moment, he grabbed them with his left hand. Soon, 2 rays of orchid-like demonic energy flew out. This is Rehu's soul. Tiangong Taoist became excited. With Rehu's soul as a medium, it would be countless times easier to find his whereabouts, and you could even kill him directly with the Nailhead 7 Arrows book. With this, are you still afraid that he will run away? In the heat of the moment, I forgot about it. After a pause, my lord, cast a spell quickly. This Rehu was severely injured by me and has lost his body. Only his soul is left to escape. His strength is not as good as before. If he encounters it, he will definitely be able to capture it. Haha, don't worry, he can't run away. Spreading his right hand, the heavenly secret divine ball emerged. In the middle of the Bagua disc, a blue ball of light that looked like a starry sky in the universe instantly sucked in the 2 souls. The originally flat Bagua disc became 16 guide rails. Yin and Yang, 3 talents, 4 symbols, 5 elements, Liu He, 7 stars, Bagua, 9 palaces, heavenly stems, and earthly branches. Each guide rail has a different function. Gradually, Su Junming's smile disappeared. The divine ball of heaven rotated faster and faster, gradually turning into a blue ball of light. Tiangong Taoist understands that the more this is the case, the more difficult it is to deduce. Subconsciously, he held his breath, for fear of disturbing Su Junming's deduction. After a long time, the light dissipated and the Tianji divine ball also calmed down. How? Su Junming frowned slightly. We have underestimated Luo Hu. He should have a treasure of destiny on him, which obscures his own secrets. I can only vaguely sense the direction in which he is, but I don't know how far away from us, let alone the specific location. Position. Taoist Tiangong showed a look of disappointment on his face. Chaos is vast. If there is only one direction, who knows how far to look? Of course, Su Junming can use the 7-arrow nail-head curse to kill Luo Hu. But Luo Hu is dead, and if he can't find him, there is a high probability that the treasures in him will be cheaper for other gods and demons. This is not the result that Tiangong Taoist wants to see. Okay. There is no rush for Luo Hu. You and he are involved in cause and effect, and sooner or later we will meet again. It will not be too late to get the Black Lotus then. And don't forget, in addition to Luo Hu's 9th grade Black Lotus, there is also a you can fight for the 3rd grade Black Lotus. And it's obviously much easier to get it than Rehu. Tiangong Taoist nodded. You have a relationship with this person, and you still need to take action in this matter. Don't worry. If nothing happens, it won't be difficult to get this 3rd grade Black Lotus. But in comparison, I am more concerned about Luo Hu's words. Tiangong Taoists know the elegant meaning when they hear the string song. You mean the Beast King Hunyuan world? That's right. I originally thought that the gods from the Taishu era, the Daihuang clan and the human Huang clan were dead, but now it seems they are still alive. Maybe it's just Luo Hu's deception. Su Junming pondered for a moment and shook his head. My destiny path has broken into the realm of Hunyuan true immortal, and my judgment of truth and falsehood has reached the realm of divine awareness and clarity. My gut tells me they're still alive. Tiangong Taoist frowned slightly. You're not really going to find this Beast King Hunyuan world, are you? Haha, that's not true. But I do think these guys will come here on their own. Are they also coveting the ancient world? Maybe it's the prehistoric world, maybe it's something else. I'm not sure. I just have a vague feeling. Oh, it would be great if you could be clearer. Su Jun understood him. The path of destiny is inherently vague, otherwise wouldn't I become destiny itself? He waved his hand. Okay, you must be tired after thousands of years of killing. Go get some rest early. Tiangong Taoist nodded, waved his hand and threw the Jianmu spiritual root, god-killing spear and the useless death demon flag to Su Junming. Aren't you going to reward your apprentice? They have enough treasures in their hands. They won't be able to use them if they don't use them. It's up to you. After that, the figure gradually disappeared. He glanced at the three treasures and threw them away. The god-killing spear and the underworld death flag flew into the Lingbao Hall of Chongshan General Academy in Chongshan Hunyuan world for disciples to understand the way of killing and the way of death. Although these two paths are both called demonic paths in the prehistoric world of cultivation. But Su Junming didn't mean much discrimination. He always firmly believes that the real evil lies not in Taoism itself, but in the human heart. Jianmu falls on the edge of the world, taking root in the earth, enhancing the foundation of the Hunyuan world in the mountains. With the presence of this Jianmu sacred tree, the speed at which the Chongshan Hunyuan world absorbs the spiritual energy of chaos, and the growth of the world itself, will be much faster. After finishing this matter, he turned around and looked in the direction of Hong Huang, took a step forward, and turned into a ray of light and galloped away. Thanks to Book Friend Clan, memories for the 1500 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1130. The endless Xianming Qi is like thick sea water, filling every inch of this space. In this boundless Xianming Qi, a simple temple stands proudly. On the stone tablet in front of the palace, the three-character sacred pattern of Pingxin Palace is unusually simple and devoid of any divine light. Suddenly, a faint and dark spiritual light fell from the sky. But a moment later, a tall figure shrouded in darkness landed on the steps. After scanning the stone tablet with the inscription Pingxin Palace on the side, his cold eyes looked towards the ancient palace 9 feet away, which seemed to be made of bronze. The voices condensed into a line. Pain Yu, an old friend is here, don't you want to meet him? I have decided to ignore the chaos, so why do you have to worry about it? Ping Xian or Ho Tu's voice came from the main hall. Really? Even the world left by Father God is going to be destroyed by Hung Jun, and you don't want to care? Life and death, apart from the supreme power of Hong Meng, what else can last forever in the vast chaos? Everything is determined. The man in black robe smiled coldly. He, I really didn't expect that the Yujian clan, the generous and heroic Earth Emperor in the ancient times, has now turned into the cautious tortoise he is now. It's really a waste of time for your father to plan for you and reincarnate as a queen. I thought you could lead the witch clan to rise and become the protagonist of the ancient world. I didn't expect you to be seduced by that old thief Hung Jun and sacrifice Pangu's essence and blood to become this bullshit reincarnation. You are really a coward. Jutu, you don't have to provoke me. Moreover, the human race has become the protagonist of the prehistoric times, and our long-cherished wish has come true. Bullshit. What kind of human race are the prehistoric human races now? They are just wastes inspired by Nuwa, that bitch, with the soil and the spiritual water of creation. Only I, the Taishu and Taiga human races, are the real descendants of Pangu, Wu the clan can only be counted as half. You are too persistent. The human race also has the blood of Father God Pangu. Haha, can a rice grain placed in a bowl of water be called porridge? And although the human race is the protagonist now, they are just puppets in the hands of Hung Jun, Sanking, and the second sage. They are just cultivating with the luck of the human race. How can you have any autonomy? Ping Xin in the main hall fell silent after a while. I have no intention of arguing with you, just go away. The black-robed Judu clan looked gloomy. Pain Yu, have you forgotten Brother Kangli's blood feud? If it weren't for his strong support at the beginning, did you think you could become the Earth Emperor of the ancient human race? As soon as these words came out, the energy in the hall instantly fluctuated. Although it quickly calmed down, it was obvious that these words disturbed Ho Tu's state of mind. The Judu clan keenly sensed a change and quickly continued. Besides, if he hadn't blocked Luohu's god-killing spear, you would have died long ago. Luohu is dead, Ho Tu said. Death, how is it possible? After Hung Jun turned against the enemy, he united with Taoist Qinkan, Taoist Xianyuan, and Lord Juling to fight against Luohu. They could have killed him directly. But because of Hung Jun's negligence, he allowed him to escape Yuan Shen. Of course, this so-called negligence was also premeditated. After all, when the war first started, Hung Jun was a remnant of gods and demons who stood with Luohu. This is all just conjecture on your part. Speculation? Pan Yu, dozens of Yuanhui have disappeared, how can you learn to deceive yourself? Since Hung Jun became a saint, the origin of the ancient land has shrunk step by step. In the ancient Lich War, Gong Gong broke Mount Buzhu, you are also a witness. Based on your understanding of Gong Gong, does he really have the ability to break Mount Buzhu? Ho Tu fell silent. Having been with Gong Gong for more than a dozen meetings, she certainly knew what Gong Gong was capable of. If no one comes to help, not to mention breaking Mount Buzhu, but even knocking Mount Buzhu around and shaking it a few times is considered his ability. And those who have the ability to let Gong Gong break Mount Buzhu are a few saints. If Hung Jun wants to control the way of heaven, he must not be contaminated by this kind of great cause and effect. So the most likely one is the second sage of the West. Compared with the three purities, the law of cause and effect that led Zunti to practice was the most important, and it was also the easiest to be controlled by Hung Jun. The cause and effect of causing Gong Gong to break Mount Buzhu and destroy the world all fell on the Wu clan, which directly eliminated the possibility of the Wu clan rising in the wilderness. Hey, Hung Jun is really good at calculating. The Wu clan is destroyed, and the human race, which is seemingly the descendant of Pangu, rises. In fact, it is not his disciples who control the prehistoric world. As long as the immeasurable catastrophe comes, primordial shatter can completely destroy the Yuanling imprint left by Father God in the primordial world, and completely control the primordial world. With this as a basis, up to 100 Yuanhui can use the primordial world to ascend to Hongmeng territory. With a Hongmeng true realm as a basis, even the Hongmeng Supreme can resist it. Except for the powerful Tianzun who sees the dragon but never sees its tail, he can really live forever and watch the chaos rise and fall with a smile. Having said this, Judu's eyes showed endless yearning. Immortality is what almost every living being longs for most. Now is not the time to think about this. After taking a slight breath and calming down, Judu looked towards the main hall. Pain Yu, the Panhuang Hunyuan world opened by my father and mother has begun to move towards the primitive world. At most 2 Yuan we can reach the chaotic world in the primitive world. So, next time I won't be the one to advise you. Think about it. A wisp of smoke went away in an instant and disappeared without a trace. Outside Pingxin Palace, calm was restored again. In the main hall, Ho-Tu, who was wearing a yellow robe and long hair shawl, had a complicated expression. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. "I've tried my best to avoid it, can't I still avoid it?" She has personally experienced 3 tragic wars in the beginning, the ancient times, and the ancient times, and witnessed her most beloved elder brother die in front of her eyes for the so-called fate of the human race. She is really tired, and does not want to be disturbed by the world anymore, let alone the prehistoric spirit. Look, the human race has changed, and they just want to practice the Tao in peace and peace of mind. This was also the reason why she gave up her identity as an ancestral witch and transformed into the underworld, and later entrusted the witch clan to Chongshan Academy. As for his father, the Earth Emperor who ruled the human race in ancient times, and his mother, the human emperor who ruled the human race in ancient times. What left in her mind was not the kindness of a father and the filial piety of a son, but the cold iron blood. Except for her brother Kang Li, she had never felt a moment of warmth among the Taoist human race. Coupled with the experience of dying for the human race in the ancient times and then being reincarnated into the earth, she felt that she had nothing to do with the early human race. The so-called Yujian clan was nothing more than a puppet pushed to the forefront by the Emperor Enrenhuang clan after they were seriously injured in the battle at the end of the Taoist period and were unable to handle matters. Therefore, she had no feelings for her so-called parents in her previous life, and she did not want to sacrifice herself again for their illusory cause of the human race. However, he also knew that with the dominance of the Daihuang clan, she would never be allowed to stay out of the matter. Staring at the boundless mysterious energy around him. "I didn't expect that I would still be able to avoid the troubles of the world by hiding here. As of now, there are only 2 ways. Either she abandons her status as the Earth Mother, leaves the primitive world, goes deep into the chaos, and never comes back. Either take shelter under the mighty. The most powerful people in ancient times are the saints." Hung Jun didn't think about it. She didn't have the slightest fondness for this Taoist who betrayed the chaos gods and demons, joined the Pangu descendants, and seized nearly all the fruits of victory in the ancient war of all races, and also tricked the Lich and Lich clans to death. Although Sanking is also a descendant of Pangu, they are disciples of Hung Jun. The second saint of the West was an important driving force behind the destruction of the Witch clan. As for Dao Zun Xiantian, the 2 sides have almost no interaction, and if they rush to visit him rashly, they may be self-defeating. Chongshan Academy. Ho-Tu's eyes brightened slightly. Ever since Chongshan Academy accepted the Wu clan, she has been paying attention to the sect that is very different from prehistoric people and Western religions. The teaching of seeking truth from facts, studying things to gain knowledge, and all living beings being equal is even more unheard of. She likes the peaceful, prosperous, and pursuit of knowledge and mutual respect environment of Chongshan Academy. Moreover, Su Junming got his Pangu essence and blood, and he also owed her karma. The most important thing is that this person and Nuwa formed a Taoist couple, and the 2 saints united. Together with the newly opened Hunyuan world, it is said that it is 60% the size of the ancient world. Enough to resist the Taoist human race. Thinking of this, Ho-Tu made a decision. Thanks to the book friend Cheng Zhou Scholar for the 500 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1131. Xiantian Hunyuan World. This is a Hunyuan world several times larger than Wa Huangtian, about 1/2 of the Chongshan world and 1/5 of the prehistoric world. It is also a world opened up by Taoist master Xiantian. Unlike Su Junming, this Xiantian Hunyuan world is not far from the prehistoric world and has not received too many intrusions from chaotic gods and demons. The layout of the Xiantian world is the same as that of the Wawang world, and it also imitates the prehistoric world. A magnificent divine peak in the center holds up the sky of the Xiantian world. This mountain peak is called the Xiantian Divine Peak in the Xiantian world. The Xiantian Hall above the Xiantian Divine Peak is not only the core of the Xiantian sect, but also the dojo of Xiantian Taoist master. When Su Junming first stepped into chaos, he took a few glances from a distance. This is the first time to visit in person. Fellow Taoist Su is here to visit. My Xiantian palace is really flourishing. Fellow Taoist Xiantian, you're welcome. Taoist Xiantian pointed at the green-robed Taoist standing beside him. This is my eldest disciple Qing Yang. Why don't you pay tribute to the true Lord as soon as possible? Qing Yang has met Su Zhenjun, the real king is Sheng Xiao. Fellow Taoist Xiantian is indeed a great disciple from a famous teacher. In a few years, Taoist Qing Yang will be able to advance to the level of Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Haha, fellow Taoist praises him too much. The Hunyuan Golden Immortal is so high and noble, how can it be achieved so easily? Even so, Taoist Suanation's eyes still looked at his disciples with deep expectation and relief. Please come in. Please. Arriving at the main hall, the guests and hosts were seated and served tea. I heard that fellow Taoist likes to drink tea. I have cultivated this Yanzi Ling Cha for many years. Although it is not as good as Taoist Nuwa Xiantian Ling Cha, it still has a different taste. Su Junming smiled when he heard this, picked up the teacup and took a sip. I heard that fellow Taoist Xiantian is proficient in the 5 elements Taoism. I wonder if you can discuss it with me. Fellow Taoist is also interested in 5 elements avenue. A little. In that case, it is as requested by fellow Taoist. It just so happens that I am also curious about the mystery of your Taoist space method. After the two looked at each other and smiled, their hearts moved. Qingyun as big as an acre of land flew out from above each other's heads. Su Junming's skills have surpassed Suanmin, so there are no longer 3 flowers of energy and spirit on the top of his head. Instead, a gourd vine spirals upward, with 12 large and small gourds dotting it. It can be seen that the black soul gourd is the largest, almost 10 times the size of other gourds. However, this is not the end of this gourd. After Su Junming's soul Dao breaks through the Hongmeng realm, his soul gourd can theoretically be upgraded to a low-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure. But such a spiritual treasure requires so much chaotic spiritual energy that it is impossible to get it all together in a short time. At the top of the gourd vine, the vines and branches and leaves turn into a Dharma platform. There is an ancient bronze mirror on the altar. The green mirror shines brightly, and the aura is deep, vast, and extremely powerful. It is the most important treasure in Su Junming's hands, the Dian mirror. Around the Dian mirror, there is something similar to a Bhagwa disc, shining with a mysterious and unpredictable aura of destiny, which is the divine ball of heaven. Apart from that, there is nothing else. Su Junming's cultivation has reached the peak of the late Hunyuan Golden Immortal period, and his cultivation of the Soul Dao has entered the realm of Hongmeng Shangzun. The Pangu sword, the illusion god ball, the Xianyuan water control flag, the underworld demon death banner, and the god-killing spear were all of little use to him. When it comes to killing, the martial arts gourd, the space gourd, and the 5 elements gourd are all good. In terms of defense, yin-yang, time, and devour are even more useful. Coupled with the Dian divine mirror, it suppresses the formation. Under the realm of Hongmeng, he is no longer afraid of anyone. Even Hongjun is at least a Tai. Across from Taoist Xiantian, 5 bright spiritual flowers are floating on the Qingyun the size of an acres of land. The 5 colors of white, red, green, yellow, and black respectively correspond to the 5 innate elements. On the 5 spiritual flowers, there is a 7-foot-long, thick-armed wooden stick shining in 5 colors in the middle. The rich 5-color aura blooms, and the rich rhyme of the 5 elements permeates the air. Obviously, this is the natal spiritual treasure of Taoist Xiantian. On the left side of the wooden staff is a golden ruler 3 feet long and 3 fingers wide, with the sun, moon, and stars embossed on the front and all natural phenomena on the back. The rich spiritual light of merit shines for 3 feet. It is one of the 2 great spiritual treasures of merit in the prehistoric world. It can be compared with the Xianhuang exquisite tower of heaven and earth, the Xianhuang merit ruler. On the right side of the wooden stick, there is an old pine with dry stems and branches, shining with 5 colors of brilliance. Congenital 5-needle pine. Su Junming recognized it at a glance. The most famous innate spiritual root of the 5 elements in the ancient world is the loosening of the 5 innate needles. I just didn't expect this treasure to fall into the hands of Taoist Xiantian. Su Junming used the Dian divine mirror to see through the background of Taoist Xiantian, but Taoist Xiantian saw him as just a blue mist, hazy and dotted with stars, which seemed to contain infinite mystery, but it was difficult to see through it. Soon, in his surprised eyes, Su Junming's Qingyun actually approached him directly. Daozun Xiantian frowned slightly. It was somewhat unreasonable for Su Junming to use this kind of preaching method that would not be used by relatives and close friends who have known each other for many years. However, considering the identity and status of the other party, it was not easy for them to turn against each other, so they endured it. Qingyun is connected, and each other can clearly sense each other's Taoism. Xiantian Daozun's 5 elements Dao skills are still above those of the Dragon Emperor. Although there is the Dian Divine Mirror, the Dragon Emperor's training time is short after all. Moreover, Daozun Xiantian also has the Xiantian 5-needle pine as a reference. It is a matter of course that the latter is stronger. What really surprised Su Junming was that Xiantian Daozun's understanding of the 5 elements was only 3 short of reaching the realm of Hongmeng. As long as the other party plays steadily and participates in dozens of Yuanhui trainings, he will definitely be able to comprehend the 5 elements to the Hongmeng realm, and then there will be a chance to overcome the tribulation and achieve the Hongmeng supreme realm. Based on this alone, it has surpassed Sanking, the second sage of the West and Nuhua. As expected, he is a strong man of the same generation as Hung Jun and Yang Mei. This opportunity was rare. Su Junming took a breath, calmed down, and began to concentrate on understanding his 5 elements principles. Hongmeng Dao's body and soul are connected, and the laws he understands are the laws the Dragon Emperor understands. When one is prosperous, both are prosperous; when one is lost, both are harmed. Compared to Su Junming, Taoist Xiantian was also quite shocked. Qingyun is connected, and he can clearly sense the realm of Su Junming and Hu Tianyi. The late Hunyuan Golden Immortal period. In addition to the elusive destiny, time and space are the most difficult avenues to understand among the 3,000 avenues. Yang Mei, who was one of the 5 saints back then, relied on his magical power and Taoism similar to theirs to defeat Luo Hu, Qinkan Taoist, him and Hung Jun, and firmly occupied the first place. If he hadn't had a peaceful mind and didn't like fighting, he would have stayed away from the primitive world as early as the late ancient times and went to chaos to pursue the highest realm of Taoism. He alone can suppress Rehu. I didn't expect that after Yang Mei, there would be another being who reached such a state on the journey of space. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1132. The understanding of Taoism always takes a lot of time. This is true even for preaching among fellow Taoists, not to mention that both Su Junming and Taoist Xiantian are in the realm of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, so every bit of understanding is extremely difficult. However, in comparison, Su Junming, who possesses the Dian Divine Mirror and has transformed his soul, can comprehend the 5 elements principles far faster than Xiantian Taoist master can comprehend the space principles. About 300 years later, the 2 Qingyun trembled. Taoist master Xiantian opened his eyes, Fellow Taoist, why not come here first? Although the Taoism of space is mysterious, he majored in the Taoism of 5 elements, so he just complied with Su Junming's suggestion and ended it on his own initiative after saving his face. Su Junming nodded slowly. Although it was a pity, he could not force Xiantian Taoist master to discuss the Tao. And the purpose of his coming here this time is not to discuss Taoism. I see that fellow Taoist coming here seems to have something to do. Su Junming smiled and said, fellow Taoist Xiantian has a good eye for truth, but I have something to ask for here. Oh! Spreading his palms, a magic sword with rich spiritual energy slowly flew out. With a thought in his heart, he flew to Taoist Xiantian. I would also like to ask fellow Taoists to taste it. How do you like this sword? Although Daozun Xiantian was a little confused, he was still happy to see Hunter Xian and took the magic sword. Take a brief look. Fellow Taoist, this sword is mysterious. The 10 prohibitions are interconnected, and it is absolutely correct. It can be seen that the person who practices the sword must be a master of weapons. Furthermore, this sword coincides with the Gengjin Dao. It is extremely sharp. Although it is an acquired spiritual treasure, it is a powerful killing weapon. Congratulations to fellow Daoist Su. After some comments, Taoist Xiantian was about to send the sword back, but was blocked by Su Junming's magic power. Looking at his questioning look, the latter smiled faintly. Fellow Taoist, I would like to exchange this King Glow sword for the 3rd grade Black Lotus of Destruction in your hands. I hope that you will not hesitate to exchange. Su Junming is very grateful. A glimmer of light flashed in Daozun Suanation's eyes, his expression unchanged. How do fellow Taoists know that I have the 3rd grade Black Lotus of Destruction? Because I know a thing or two about deduction. With a wave of his right hand, the heavenly secret divine ball emerged, and the mysterious aura of destiny dispersed, instantly making Taoist Suanation's eyes widen. This was the first time for him to see such a pure destiny magic weapon. Although Hichuluashu can also be deduced, it is the formation path first, and the deduction second. It is incomparable to Su Junming's pure destiny treasure heavenly mystery ball. He put away his wave and looked at Taoist Suanation's surprised look. Fellow Taoist, the 3rd grade Black Lotus of Destruction is the split of Rahu's natal treasure. You and I both know that he will never give up. It just so happens that I also have some conflicts with him, and I am willing to take over this cause and effect from the hands of fellow Taoist. Daozun Xiantian was shocked. Have you met Rahu? Su Junming was shocked. A spear with a scarlet light shining at its tip flew out from the green gourd on his waist. This is his god-killing spear, which I have captured. It's a pity that he was not well prepared and allowed him to escape. Taoist Master Xiantian stared at the magic gun hanging on Su Junming's waist. He was too familiar with the god-killing spear. In the war that year, he almost died from this gun. After feeling it carefully, Taoist Master Xiantian changed his expression, stared at Su Junming, and the importance he attached to him in his heart increased several notches. At that time, Yang Mei was the leader of the 5 ancient saints, followed by Luo Hu, and then Hung Jun, him and Qinqin Taoist. Although without the 4 swords of killing immortals, Luo Hu's abilities are much less powerful. But with the god-killing spear, the Jianmu spiritual root, and the 9th grade Black Lotus, his cultivation level will never be inferior to him. Su Junming was able to beat Luo Hu away and even take away his god-killing spear, but if he faced him, he would be no match for him. I didn't expect Su Junming to be so powerful. While feeling amazed in his heart, he made a decision instantly. The 3rd grade Black Lotus is not on the right track with him, and it is nothing more than a hot potato if it is left in his hands. Returning it to the other party not only provides a strong supporter, but also avoids a disaster. The change in Taoist Suanation's expression was exactly what he saw in Su Junming's eyes. The reason why he took the initiative to confess the fact of defeating Luo Hu was to intimidate Taoist Xiantian. Now it seems that the effect is indeed what he thought. With a shake of one hand, the King Glogo sword flew towards Su Junming, and at the same time, a black treasure box appeared in the hands of Taoist Xiantian. Please take this sword back, fellow Taoist. As for the third-grade Black Lotus of Destruction, I have kept it in my hand for many years and have never used it. Since fellow Taoist wants it, there is no need for any exchange, just take it. As soon as he finished speaking, Folly held the black treasure box and flew towards Su Junming. He had already seen it with the Dian Divine Mirror, and he knew very well that it contained the third-grade Black Lotus of Destruction that he wanted. Subconsciously, he reached out to catch it and stared at the heroic-looking Taoist Xiantian. This person is a decisive person. After realizing his amazing strength, he decisively used an unused third-grade Black Lotus to make him owe a cause and effect. After brief consideration, Su Junming put away the two treasures. Daozun Xiantian has merits and virtues, and there is no conflict of interest between the two parties, so they might as well make good friends. Fellow Taoist is so kind, but Su Junming is disrespectful. Haha, fellow Taoist, you are so polite. In the future, your family and I will practice Taoism together in chaos. We are so close to each other, so we need to keep watch and help each other. This is natural. I am here today, and I will also invite fellow Taoist Xiantian to be a guest in my mountain world the next day. Easy to say, easy to say. I will certainly disturb you when the time comes. Su Junming stood up. In this case, Pandeo will take his leave. Fellow Taoist, walk slowly. After personally sending Su Junming out of the Xiantian Hall, and then letting his eldest disciple Qingyang take him to see him off, he looked at the retreating light and his eyes became deeper and deeper. Suddenly, a tall and majestic figure walked over from the depths of Xiantian Hall. He wore an iron hoop on his head and a black animal skin vest on his upper body, revealing two muscular arms. The lower body is wearing a knee-length leather skirt, and the bare feet are like black hard steel, shining with a faint light. The lion's nose is wide, its hair is disheveled, and its aura is wild and domineering. Looking at it as a whole, it looks like a chief in a tribe in primitive society. Is he Su Junming? A loud voice sounded. Not bad. I didn't expect him to be able to defeat Luo Hu. I really underestimated him before. Is that really Luo Hu's god-killing spear? It's unmistakable. I will always remember the breath of the god-killing spear. In that case, this is a good opportunity for us to eradicate Luo Hu. His six desires demonic path is so weird and changeable that we can't even detect him. We can't find him at all. Taoist Master Xiantian shook his head. Indeed. But now it's better. With the third-grade Black Lotus and the revenge for the treasure, Luo Hu and the Chongshan true monarch will definitely fight to the death, and a big trouble will be avoided. Taoist Xiantian nodded. I forgot to ask you when I arrived earlier. Why did you come to me if you don't receive blessings from your giant spirit Hunyuan realm? The strong man's expression suddenly became serious. I got news that Shen Ni, the Earth Emperor clan and the Human Emperor clan, as well as the great families who fled into chaos in the Taishu and Ancient Era, are all coming back. Taoist Suanation's eyes widened for a moment, and after a long time, he slowly exhaled. The immeasurable calamity has begun, and it's really time for them to come back. Why, fellow Taoist, you are not interested in the prehistoric world? Not interested? He shook his head simply. It is enough for me, Xiantian Dao, to have a foothold in the world in front of me. Although the prehistoric world is good, there are too many people watching. If it doesn't work well, it will end in death. I won't participate anymore. He paused and turned his head. What? You, the giant spirit clan, are not going to get involved, are you? There was a hint of hesitation on the strong man's face. Daozun Xiantian said in surprise, are you really planning to participate? I haven't made up my mind either. The clan is now divided into two groups. The younger generation wants to go back, while the older generation wants to live a stable life. I'm still hesitating. Taoist Master Xiantian nodded. The younger generation has never experienced the cruelty of the ancient war, so of course they will not take it to heart. Staring at his old friend who was still hesitating, Taoist Master Xiantian sighed slightly. Giant spirit, the immeasurable calamity is 10 times more cruel than the war of thousands of races in the ancient times. In the ancient times, our cultivation was just the beginning of entering the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian, and the prehistoric world was also more stable than it is now. Our fighting will not cause too much damage of destruction. And now we are all Hunyuan golden immortals, and every move we make has the power to destroy the heaven and the earth. If we fight in the wilderness, the number of dead and injured creatures will be hundreds of times that in ancient times. In the ancient times, one could escape to chaos after defeat, but if one were defeated in immeasurable tribulations, one might really die and the whole race would be wiped out. So, it's better not to participate if you can. The shirtless strong man, the leader of the giant spirit tribe, the giant spirit god, nodded slowly. Seeing that there was still a trace of hesitation in his eyes, Dao Zun Xiantian sighed in his heart and said nothing more. Too much is not enough. Although he has been an old friend for many years, he is not a member of the giant spirit clan after all. As soon as they returned to the Chaos Stone Ball, Taoist Tiangong came to greet them. How? His expression was extremely earnest. Fortunately, I did not disgrace my life. Opening his palms, a third-grade black lotus slowly emerged. The strong charm of destruction and the billowing innate spiritual energy were exactly what he wanted. Quick, my lord, return to your roots. Such third-grade black lotus definitely cannot be used to fuse with the green lotus of creation. Only by washing away the demonic aura and destructive charm above, and transforming it into the pure lotus origin and innate immortal aura. Su Junming nodded. Activate the time talisman, and the strong crystal-colored time power envelops the third-grade black lotus. With his current cultivation level and his understanding of the Tao of time, it is not difficult to return to the third-grade black lotus. In just a moment, this third-grade black lotus of destruction has undergone significant changes. The rime of destruction is getting weaker and weaker, and the black color is getting lighter and thinner. Gradually, the lotus in his hand slowly dissipated, turning into a ball of lotus origin that shimmered with the charm of creation. A bright light is entrenched in it, which is the innate immortal light. Without Su Junming's instructions, Taoist Tiangong quickly took out the 18th grade good fortune green lotus. The origin of the lotus was instantly attracted to it, and lightning flew over. The two blend seamlessly. Based on the accumulation of dozens of Yuanhui in the past, the creation green lotus grew 3 more lotus leaves. There is also one more Hongmeng restriction. With 4 restrictions, it can become a mid-grade Hongmeng Lingbao. It was this restriction that caused this treasure to undergo earth-shaking changes. For all treasures, a forbidden gap is the difference between heaven and earth. I'll go back to refine the treasure. Don't call me if you have nothing to do. Seeing Taoist Tiangong's retreating figure, Su Junming shook his head and did not call him. With this good fortune Qinglian, I will be much more certain about becoming a god. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1134. Returning to Chongshan residence, Nuwa is not there. Most likely I went to see Su Bui and Su Bui. A mother always cares more about her children than a father. With this thought in mind, I was about to go over and take a look when my heart suddenly moved. Why is she here? With one step, I arrived outside the world of Chongshan. In the billowing chaos, Hutu, or Queen Pingzin, who was wearing a yellow robe and long hair shawl, actually looked a little helpless. Before he could open his mouth, Ho Tu flew up to him and bowed his head as a courtesy. Fellow Daoist Su, it's been a long time. After returning the gift, Your Majesty is not in the netherworld receiving blessings, so why did you come to this new world of mine? To be honest, I came here to seek refuge from fellow Taoists, Ho Tu said with a wry smile. Su Junming's heart moved. Fellow Taoist, please follow me. With a flick of the finger, a space passage emerged. Please. Ho Tu did not hesitate and flew into it, followed closely by Su Junming. The two of them came to the main hall of Kongshanju and sat down. As Su Junming's real dojo, there are restrictions on the path of destiny he left behind, which can isolate calculations and eliminate cause and effect. Unless fate is several levels higher than his, one can never figure out the cause and effect between the two. My queen, are you in trouble? Hutu nodded slowly. Do you know about the Taishu human race? Of course. It is said that the human race in the early days was transformed from Pangu's flesh and blood essence. They were born with supernatural powers and were powerful. They were ruled by the Earth Emperor clan and the Human Emperor clan, and stood side by side with the Beast Emperor Shen Ni in the prehistoric times. My last life was from the Taishu human race. Su Junming showed slight surprise, but did not interrupt her. Ho Tu's eyes became blurred, apparently lost in memories. At the end of the beginning, the conflict between the desolate beast clan and our human race has reached its peak. The two sides fought at the foot of Buzhu Mountain. The war lasted for tens of thousands of years and resulted in heavy casualties. The Giant Clan, the Three-Eyed Clan, and the Scorpion Clan were originally suppressed by our two races. Winged Clan, Dragon Clan, Phoenix Clan, etc. began to rise. In order to prevent the human race and the wild beast race from rising again, all races joined forces to hunt down our two races. The father and mother had no choice but to leave the wilderness and escape into the depths of chaos. The same is true for the beast emperor Shen Ni. However, in order to make a comeback in the future, I left behind brother Kang Li. My previous life was the Yujian, who was revered as the Earth Emperor clan in the ancient times, and the Nine-Head clan, who were the Human Emperor, the Earth Emperor, and the Earth Emperor respectively. The Human Emperor led the remaining Taishu human race to hide in the Abbot's Ferry Island to avoid disaster. Su Junming could tell that she had deep feelings for the ancient Emperor Kang Li. After the restoration of Ten Yuanhui, the Taishu human race finally has the strength to protect itself under the leadership of brother Kang Li. We also began to take the initiative to leave Abbot Xiandao to explore the prehistoric situation. After Ten Yuanhui battles, the pattern of the prehistoric era has changed drastically. The three clans of Long, Feng, and Kailan are the strongest and dominate the prehistoric world, and many other ethnic groups are their vassals. There are also Yangmei, Luohu, Hongjun, and Xiantian Daozun. Qinkan Taoist and the Five Saints are beyond all other races. Because Abbot Immortal Island is far away in the East China Sea, the Dragon Clan quickly learned about us. Because they have established their hegemony, they no longer attack us, but let the human race become their vassals. We are not strong enough, so we can only compromise. What happened next was just like in the Taishu era. The conflicts between the three clans of Dragon, Phoenix, and Unicorn accumulated more, and finally a great war broke out that destroyed the world. As a vassal of the Dragon Clan, we, the ancient human race, also joined the war. The fighting in the war was as brutal as the fighting between humans and wild beasts in the early days. Countless tribes were wiped out, and many tribes fled the wilderness in order to survive. But the irony is that just when the Dragon Clan was about to defeat the Feng Clan and the Kailan Clan, the Demon Clan under Luohu suddenly burst out from the depths of the western wilderness. The Dragon Clan was instantly hit hard, and our ancient human race also suffered heavy casualties. In order to save me, brother Kang Li died by Luohu's god-killing spear. Although I managed to survive, I died under the immortal killing sword formation 3,000 years later. Fortunately, my soul escaped and was taken away by my parents. Then I used Pangu's essence and blood to reshape it and became the descendant of the Wu clan. Wait a minute, you mean to say that the Wu clan was actually shaped by the Taoist Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan, and was not born from heaven and earth, Su Junming interrupted. Yes. Moreover, my mother is from the Huang family and is proficient in formations. She gave me the 12 capitals great formations of gods and demons. This is really unexpected. Su Junming frowned and said, why do the Earth Emperor clan and the Human Emperor clan want to shape the Wu clan instead of joining the world as a human race? The cause and effect of the Taoist human race is too heavy. If you still insist on this identity, it will be easy to follow the same mistakes as Tao Tao in the ancient times. I see. Although the witch clan rose rapidly due to Pangu's merits, as my parents expected, the demon clan also became a dominant force in the wild under the protection of Hung Jun. The fight between the two powerful forces is a reappearance of the ancient times. From the beginning to the ancient times, and back to the ancient times, I am tired of this kind of fighting with no end in sight. So, I went to find Hung Jun, and with his guidance, I transformed into the reincarnation of the underworld, and with my merits, I escaped from the cause and effect of the lich's struggle for hegemony. I just didn't expect that I escaped the karma of the Wu clan, but I didn't escape the shadow of my parents. Just half a year ago, Pan Qing of the Judu clan came to Netherworld and asked me to return to the Taoist human race, and he swore that the Taoist land the Huang family and the Renhuang family will return to the ancient times. I have already died once to repay their kindness in raising me. This time, I don't want to be a victim of their power and ambition again. That's why I shamelessly begged fellow Taoists, hoping to be protected by fellow Taoists. After saying that, Hutu took a breath. Of course, if fellow Taoist feels embarrassed, I won't force it. Su Junming smiled lightly. Su Junming will bear in mind the friendship that the Empress gave me when she gave me a drop of Pangu's essence and blood. The Empress wants to ask for a little protection, and there is no way for me to refuse. However, my mountain world has its own rules, and I hope that the Empress will abide by them. Ho Tu's face showed joy and he said quickly. Don't worry, fellow Taoist, Ping Xian is now dedicated to cultivating the world and has absolutely no intention of winning. He waved his hand to interrupt her. Your Majesty, I have misunderstood. This is not what Pandeo is referring to. There was a pause. The Hunyuan world in Chongshan was created by poor people, and is home to hundreds of millions of creatures in Chongshan. If everyone only knows how to take, but does not know anything in return, the aura of the world will become weaker and weaker, and will eventually lead to destruction. In order to avoid this situation, any creature that enters our world and wants to leave must repay twice the spiritual materials, spiritual energy, spiritual materials, elixirs, magic weapons, etc., absorbed in our world. You are not allowed to leave until the repayment is completed. After the repayment is completed, you can come and go freely. I don't know, would you agree to it? Of course I agree. I just don't know how to repay the spiritual material that my fellow Taoists said. Chongshan Academy has a formation that can refine the energy of chaos and turn it into innate spiritual energy to nourish the world. However, this formation needs to be driven by monks to operate. When the Taoist friends leave, you only need to drive the formation to refine enough energy. Innate aura is enough. So that's it? Fellow Taoist is really clever. The world of Chongshan will surely prosper in the future. Borrow me your blessings. There was a pause. I have something to ask my queen to tell me. Fellow Taoist, please tell me, whatever Pingxin knows, I will definitely not hide anything about it. After Su Junming nodded, although the prehistoric world is vast and can be called the pinnacle of the Hunyuan world, it will not lead to various clans competing for hegemony. Even the Daihuang clan and the Human Emperor clan, who have already opened up the world in chaos, everyone who exists must come back to fight for it. I don't know much about this matter, but according to old legend, anyone who can gain access to the prehistoric world will receive the inheritance left by Pangu, as well as the secret of breaking into the realm of Hongmeng. As for whether this legend is true, I don't know. Su Junming nodded, frowning slightly, with a hint of thought in his eyes. Whether it is the inheritance of Pangu or the secret of breaking into the realm of Hongmeng, it is an irresistible temptation for Hunyuan realm monks. No wonder these big families and powerful people flock to us. If it were him, he would be just as excited. It's just that he's not sure whether it's true or not. He stretched out his hand and a space channel appeared in mid-air. Inside is the world of Chongshan. The Empress can choose a place to set up a dojo. Thank you, fellow Taoist. Ho dialect is full of joy, and bowing one's head is a courtesy. Your Majesty, you're welcome. Ho too was about to turn around and leave, but quickly stopped again. After hesitating for a moment, he opened his left palm, the spiritual light coiled around him, and soon a blue light ball took shape. Here are all my memories from the beginning era to the ancient era. They include the battles between the Beast Emperor and Cheni, the Earth Emperor clan and the Human Emperor clan, as well as the battle between the 5 saints in the Eternal Era, the powerful dragons, phoenixes, unicorns, and other clans. The memory of the battle between the two. The magic power was brought to Su Junming. I believe these things will be helpful to fellow Taoists. Thank you, ma'am. Su Junming took it. The memory was indeed useful to him. Ho Tu shook his head, this is what I should do. It's only me who should say thank you. After bowing to Su Junming again, he turned around and stepped into the space passage, and his figure disappeared instantly. With a wave of his hand, the channel message comes. Looking at the blue ball of light in his hand, he first used the Dian divine mirror to examine it, then his spiritual consciousness touched it, and instantly a large number of pictures appeared in his heart. After a long time, Su Junming slowly opened his eyes. He exhaled slowly with emotion in his words. So this is the mystery of the primordial era and the ancient era. Looking at the dimmed blue ball of light, it shattered into pieces with a bang. Ho Tu's memory is just a reference for him. Nearly 100 yuan we have passed, regardless of whether it is the Divine Rebellion, the Earth Emperor clan or the Human Emperor clan, or even those great clans that escaped from the ancient times, their cultivation and methods are no longer comparable to those of yesterday. But he also believes that he is not weaker than anyone else. Sitting down cross-legged, his mind moved, and the divine orb appeared. Although everything Ho Tu said was true and unnecessary, he was cautious by nature and still believed in his deduction. Whether it is Shen Ni, the Earth Emperor clan, the Human Emperor clan, or the so-called Pangu inheritance and the Hongmeng mystery. Thanks to book friends Zhong Hong Tianxia and Xiao Yang Zi for the 500 starting coins each, and Super Carnival Night 600 starting coins for the reward. Thank you very much.